start out with about 18 tomatoes. And it says medium size, and these are a little small for the first of the season. So with that being the case, I think we've got 24 in here for these recipes. You're just gonna wash them all thoroughly, stick them over to the side, and then we'll be watching for a special treat. Okay. Okay, I promised you a magic trick, and so here's your magic trick. You see we've got some water here that's boiling. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off now. And what we'll do is we will take our tomatoes and we will gently set them down into the water. We've got them washed. And we won't put them all in there, we'll just put a few. And we will let them be in this hot water. And it won't take any time at all. And you will see that they will start cracking. So I'll pull some up when the skins start cracking. We have taken the tomatoes out of the hot water. Then what we've done is we've put them in the ice water. And I'll show you how easy it peels. You'll take your fingers and you will peel this, and you'll be done and ready to go on to the next one. So it's just a very simple process, but if you're sitting there trying to peel it with a knife, you'd be here all day peeling tomatoes. So we have got all of our tomatoes cored, and now we're ready to start slicing them. And so we'll lay it down. People can choose, some people like big chunky salsa, some like it other ways. Now I always slice them in half, and that way I'm not dealing with a moving target. And I like mine chunky, so there'll not be lots of dicing going on. Because when I'm going to use that chip, I want to make sure that I'm getting a whole lot of tomato in my salsa. I mean, a whole lot of chunks in my salsa. And so we'll just keep putting them in here until we get 10 cups. So 2.5 times, and this will be ready. And then we also need to add 1/4 cup actually it's 1/2 cup of vinegar, sorry. Once we've got that done, we'll take and we'll stir it all together. See if I can let you see that. And then we're going to cook it to a boil, and then we're going to simmer it for 10 minutes. So let's get it on the eye. Okay, we're ready to start. And so what I have done right now is I have put my seals, my rubber seals, into some hot water so that it releases, it can start getting a little bit soft, and we're going to heat a jar. So we want to make sure that we're not pouring hot salsa into a cold jar, because that can be a disaster. So what we do is we put our temperature to 190 degrees and put our jars in the oven. And I'll take one out. And this handy little mechanism works well with that. Now, I've got a funnel that I'll put down in there, excuse me, and I'll need a ladle that I can pour some of the salsa into. So we'll want to have some of the tomato in there, but we'll need to get to the bottom and get some of the juice too, so that our last jars are not completely juice. And we will fill this up to where there is a 1/2 inch headspace. Every recipe that you're going to use is going to have a different amount of headspace. Some will be a 1/2 inch, some an inch, some 1/4 inch. So make sure that you have followed your recipe to make sure that you've got the right. And I've got a thing here, and this tells me that I need just a tad more. When I mean a tad, I mean just a little. Oops, that was a tad too much. So now we're going to have to dip some out. Let me get a spoon. So I can spoon a little bit back out. And now we should be right at a 1/2 inch. When you get to that point, there's one part that's critical, and everybody gets so excited filling their jars. A lot of times they'll forget this, but you need to make sure and clean your rim. That is very important, because if there's just one speck on there, it could keep your jar from sealing. And after all this work, you don't want to mess with any of that. Now, this little handy mechanism has got a magnet on it. So I'm just going down in here and hoping for one. Sometimes you'll get two. You'll put the lid on there, and then you're going to screw it down. Now, I don't want you to screw it real tight, because the air has got to get out of there. But I don't want you to have it loosened up that the tomatoes are getting out of there. We'll put the jar down in the canner, and I'll release it slowly. And 7 more jars, and I'll be ready to start timing this. Our 40 minutes of processing time is up, and now they're asking us to take the lid off the canner. You'll see lots of bubbling, oops, and a smoke out. So now we need to turn it off, and we're going to let them set for 5 minutes before we take them out. So we'll be back in just a little bit. I hope that you've enjoyed this segment of the Can Girls, and this time making salsa. We have worked for 40 minutes boiling. We've taken the lid off and let it set still for 5, and now we're ready to remove the jars. We've got this handy little thing to lift the jars, and what you want to do is you want to lift the jars straight up out of the water. There's going to be a little bit of water on top, but you don't want to mess with the jar by flipping it over just a little bit, because it needs to remain upright and steady. We can worry about that little bit of water. It'll dry up by in the morning. You want to make sure that you set these in a place that they will not be disturbed for 12 to 24 hours, because you want to make sure that you've got the perfect seal. So when you get ready to take those things off the shelf this winter and enjoy some chips and salsa, you won't have to worry about them being spoiled. So look for us again next time on the Can Girls. You will see Miss Linda Hyder, and she will be teaching us how to freeze some peaches and some green beans. See you later.